what are their manner, their performance, and their attitude. I would recommend that would be like a sort of a must to have any president running for the election for this position in this time, that this is a must, should be added.
Okay. Engineer Shaaban, I'm sorry, but I'll move you a bit into another issue, and that is, how can we ensure within the next few days, different people will be nominating themselves? How can we ensure we don't fall into the trap of discovering, once someone is elected, that this person has a problem with treason, or this person's mother's nationality is Japanese, or whatever? I mean, how can we ensure
Actually,
that
what happened in the past?
the right man is in the right place?
Exactly.
What happened in the past was in purpose, actually. Everything was known. It was no big secret that the former president was in jail, and somebody assisted him to escape from jail.
He was jailed for treason, not just jailed.
Right.
Because this is not a simple issue.
So actually we have the organizations that would really be able to evaluate the candidates. But I'd like to go back for 1 second to the vice president. If a military candidate runs, I would love to see a number of vice presidents, civilians, to actually make it acceptable to everybody that we are not really going toward a military rule, a military junta. It happened that we have a good man in the army that was suitable to assume office, and we will see a woman, as a vice president. We will see maybe somebody from
Young generation.
Whatever, younger generation, from maybe from the farmers, whatever. But we need, and with assignments, not only for decoration purpose, with assignments. We need to split.
Should we have more than one vice? Because this is basically what you're saying. Wouldn't this be like subdividing the responsibility?
For Egypt today,
do we need this?
for Egypt today, you need
to be able to follow up the work of the government.
Two vice president, but the most important thing is that we are in need for a fully expert group surrounding him, for the specialized council, like economic council, like the educational council, because we want
Aside
to be
from the government.
shifted to to a country of councils, institutions. The specialized institutions covers the defect or the shortage of the presidency chair. The presidency chair will not be under a clever understanding in everything.
Definitely.
If Mr. Sisi is a military, and we know that he is a good military one, and he can understand in security and the military and so. But in economic and the planning, we are in need for one, for the national planning, for the security he can do. We are in need for a lot of projects, national projects. We were speaking yesterday and 2 days more about the solar energy use in this country, because we are very poor in oil and the gas and so and so. The water problem needs one council specialized.
So you need, aside from the vice president, you want specialized
councils to be surrounding
members to address the different critical or strategic issues.
To put down the future plan and to discuss this future plan very deeply from the specialist, not from the...
You know, the Constitution actually states very clear that there is a certain percentage from the national income allocated for education, health, and scientific researches. Unless any government will come, will not abide to this, their decisions will not be constitutional.
Yes.
This is why I think the Dean of Economical Faculty of Economics and Political Affairs, actually came up with an idea that there should be a council that comes up with a program, economical program. This program should, any government comes, should abide to this program.
Stable program.
Regardless.
So if you are selected as a minister, you're not the one that comes in, creates programs
Right.
and do things and then
the
you
wheel
leave
every
and
time.
someone...
Study, and so we spend many times
So you come to execute.
Yes.
As a minister, you would
On-
come to
on top of
execute,
that,
not
yes.
to come and...
institutional country.
On top of that, I think the president requires a floating vice president to be able to float and be able to coordinate between the prime minister as well as you know, the other institutions in the country.
Okay.
I think also the president will have to have imagination for the decentralization of management, how to run the country in a modern way. Decentralization of government is essential now in Egypt, especially for Upper Egypt.
Okay, a final issue that we need to address, and that is when the West heard that Field Marshal Abdel Fattah al-Sisi might be running for the presidential elections, he received straightforward messages from different officials in various countries about how it will not be wise, to put it diplomatically. The message was loud and clear. They were not very happy about his nominating himself, and they said that should you nominate yourself, this confirms what they labeled as a coup, or what they're adamant on labeling as a coup. Your comment?
My dear, are we a free country or not? We are a free country. Do we have our people's will? Are we fulfilling the will of our people, or are we fulfilling the will of others? We are fulfilling the will of the people. So if the outsiders says whatever they want to say, this is their right. They can say whatever they like. But whatever the Egyptian people wants, it's going to happen, whether they like it or dislike it. I agree, if they are talking about freedom, I'm living there, and I know them, and they know us, and we know everybody. And this program is in English. Why? Because everybody here who is very well educated, and he is known of other languages, as well as the people outside, do not step your nose into the freedom of the Egyptians. Well, because this nose will be cut, because the Egyptian, read the history, says one statement: we will do whatever the people will. So Abdel Fattah al-Sisi or any other person, when he comes and runs the country, he's running because of the will of the Egyptians, not because of the will of anybody else. We don't want to have anybody interfere into the will of the Egyptians. We are the people who choose the leader. This is an important issue, whether it's coming from Europe, whether it's coming from US, whether it's coming from anywhere.
No, it is really coming from our religions.
No, I'm saying if it's coming, the issue,
Yes, yes, yes.
the issue of saying no, this is our country. This is Egypt. It's not United States, and it's not Europe.
Okay, point understood. A final comment, because I need to wrap up.
Actually,
You have 1 minute.
yes. In 1 minute, I would say that Egypt is a strategic ally to the United States and the NATO. It's a non-NATO country, but we still have a coordination with the United States and the NATO countries. And I think a military man like Sisi understands the situation perfectly. And the West is assured that we're going to maintain this strategic alliance, and we play a major role in the Middle East that will be maintained. But the internal affairs of Egypt should be actually given to the Egyptians to handle. I think the Americans will have to reevaluate their policy toward Egypt locally. We've been allies for so long. There is no point in damaging this relationship to the benefit of both countries. Sisi is very knowledgeable. He's under a lot of pressure from
But in the
former-
past, they said we're not allies.
There is
This
a-
current American
there-
administration pointed out clearly that we're
the
not allies.
administration, but check with the Pentagon. Actually, the Pentagon.
I'm just saying this is
issued
what
a-
they said,
Right.
so.
You can check because actually, I think Mr. Sisi very cleverly managed to create a big crack between the present administration in the White House and the Pentagon. This is why Mr. Chuck Hagel is the coordinator between the United States and Egypt today, because actually the military cooperation between both countries is #1.
Okay. Gentlemen, I'm sorry, our time is up. Thank you very much for
thank you very much.
joining
But
us.
I can just tell one statement to Mr. Sisi, because it is from my young child, not the child of my son.
Your grandson.
Again. So he asked me to tell him, please, we asked you, and you have to listen to us, and you will listen to you. You help us, and we help you in the following weeks, months, years, and Allah يكون في عونك علينا والله يكون في عوننا عليك.
Well, I think this is a very, very touching statement, and I think this is what maybe the best fruits of what took place over the past few years is that a new generation in Egypt is being raised, a generation which is maybe even more patriotic than their parents, and maybe with a stronger foundation in democracy. And the people, I agree with you, people will have their say at the end of the Egyptian people will have their say, and it's our roadmap, and it will only be done our way. Gentlemen, thank you very much
Thank you
for
very much.
Thank you very much.
joining us. I'd like to thank you, the viewers. Tomorrow, another day and another debate, and good night.